for them in game number 2. I thought Inspired absolutely ran that game. It does mean, though, if you go Jinx here first, that's normal.
Yeah.
But Viego can get taken away, and then you're kind of knocked down the tier list. So I'm curious to see, does Inspired actually grab Viego first pick here now, just to kind of try to deny that from Santorin? Nope. The answer is no. Jinx is the priority pick. And now I am kind of expecting Santorin again to go back to the Viego unless they're really rethinking their priorities, because they were clearly very high on this. They were willing to first pick it last game.
But
Nautilus is up.
Nautilus making it through the first ban phase for the first time this series, and then an immediate lock on the Ahri again as well for Bjergsen.
Yeah, so Nautilus being left up, it is a little bit surprising that Vulcan didn't want to go towards it, but Leona is a good answer in that matchup, and maybe he's more comfortable on that side. A lot of people do like the Leona into this matchup specifically. I do think it's easier to execute on Nautilus in team fights, but if Nautilus is going in, you can actually go for it on the Nautilus if it's kind of support on support, and the ADs are both hitting him. Leona with the W up becomes incredibly tanky and often wins out in those kind of exchanges, so it's one of those things that the counter engage from the Leona side can be quite powerful. Bjergsen, again, though, on the Ahri, was so successful on this in-game number 1. I think just has been one of his best picks. Most of his most dominant games this year have come from the Ahri, and it's something that's a lot more difficult to really punish and focus on. We saw the early pressure last time around, utilizing the Ryze and the Lee Sin to force out Victor's flash. Not going to be able to do that quite as simply against the Ahri. And not even going to first round their jungle. So, does Viego fall through picks and bans here entirely after being first picked last game? Would be interesting.
Team Liquid does still have one more pick they can make. They can try to answer AD carry here. Otherwise, EG would have the opportunity to put a couple more bans towards that if they like. No, they want to go for the jungle. And they're not going for Viego. They want to go for some powerful early game ganking and some solid team fight setup with the Jarvan.
And I like that when you have Nautilus. I mean, you have one of the best roaming supports in the game. You pair it up with an incredibly powerful early game jungler. TL, going to be a little bit of pressure on them to make things happen early here. Will EG ban out some of the hyper-scaling carries, from that bot side, or will it just be more continued focus towards Bwipo? They banned out, I believe, Graves GP in their second round of bans on their first blue side game, trying to limit the AD options from top side. This time it's going to be swapped up to the Orin, as that was the 5th pick from him last time around. I think GP would also make sense if we're thinking about playing, from the other side of the map, enabling engage. Orin is also an interesting ban just because I don't feel like TL needs more engage with their composition right now.
Right.
So it wouldn't necessarily be as critical. Whereas last time around, they didn't have any hard engage. So they were kind of more dependent upon that 5th pick. But TL targeting Inspired, Diana taken away, Viego taken away. So knocking him down the tier list quite heavily as far as those junglers go. Xin is still available though, and it is his most played. So he might just default towards going for that.
One ban left. Evil Geniuses, where do they want to focus? This is another one up there towards Bwipo. Nope, Misfortune.
Wow. Okay. So they're a little bit concerned that TL may go the Danny route and actually grab that for themselves. It would be really strong setup, obviously, for the MF to bring in the Nautilus. Hans has been playing quite a lot of Ashe. 3 picks of it, all down in the last 2 weeks, I believe. He played it 3 times, won every game on it. It is heavy on the engage. I will say they're a little bit light on damage. Like, this isn't a truly late game comp. They don't have bad team fighting by any means because they have 3 forms of really strong engage. I just think that they might want a little bit of consistent damage out of Bwipo. We'll see if they are going to go for that. This would be an interesting pick. I mean, Ashe does struggle into divers, and if you have another dive buddy, like if you go Nocturne plus another dive champion from top, like an Akali or something, and go towards that backline, they are going to lock it in. So they are going to look to dive. You can either deliver your top laner in with Realm Warp, or you can draft another dive buddy, but you want someone who can kind of get into that backline and punish the Ashe, who is very low mobility. There's no TK to protect you this time around. TL are going to be looking to go in. And it is that dive buddy that they're going for. So they are going to go Kennen. This is blind, mind you. So there is some concerns about what Bwipo could go towards. Aurelia is a matchup that a lot of people like, but Bwipo's not really much of an Aurelia guy. Graves, I think, does work as an answer. I think that, especially past the early levels, if you're going towards shield bow, some of those tankier builds, it's very difficult for Kennen to actually push out the Graves whatsoever. So you're expecting Bwipo to have prio in that side lane for sure, and to be more of a side lane force. This one's more of like a 1-4 from EG rather than playing fully through sides, because Kennen kind of has to just like push and then group. But it's a lot of dive, so really, really interesting. Both teams, I think, very heavily focused towards team fight. Graves and Ryze can look to split, but it's going to be about engage, and it's going to be about who has that better setup, because if your opponents hit that go button first and actually lock someone down, there's so much CC on both teams that someone's going to die 100-0.
And that presence of the CC and the engage on both teams leads me to believe this one's going to be a bloodbath, because both teams can look at a situation, look at a split pusher, look at anything and say, hey, we're going now. And then the other side's got to do something about it. But the problem is, man, it's like you were already talking about. If you're getting dove on by 2 or 3 different champions, there's not always something you can do about it.
No, there absolutely isn't. It's going to be a really, really exciting one. I think having a successful Nocturne game is absolutely critical here for each.
Teams have showed they got what it takes. Both teams have showed us they know how to get the win. And
the fans got what it takes for sure.
And both teams are showing plenty of go buttons here in game 3. We're off to the races, grouped up at level 1.
Oh, 4-man invade. They are spotted. They are spotted. So Santorin sees him walking up. They were looking for a wraparound there on Bjergsen. We'll see if they want to play for any sort of vision. This does give TL priority to actually invade on bot side and drop a ward, but they had an early defensive ward that spots them, and now EG can actually look for a 5-man answer. I think that may be what they go for here. Walk in with 5 towards bot. You know there's only 3 from TL. TL could potentially be in trouble if they try to walk out. They're expecting Bjergsen won't base, and he will walk through towards mid. And if he does that, it's going to be flash or death, almost guaranteed. And I think they have a good read because Bjergsen still has not based. He's going to path into this. EG have this downloaded.
All right, EG, will they stay? Will they hold this position long enough? Impact has already left.
At this point, they're going to for sure.
Impact has already left. He's back up in top lane. CoreJJ,
here they come.
Hans, Bjerg. Okay, Core and Hans are leaving. Here comes Bjergsen. Okay. Oh, no. Where are you going to go? Oh, no, Ahri, don't walk into that.
Oh, my God.
Ahri, no! First blood over to Evil Genius.
And it's Nocturne. It's Nocturne that gets it. I said he had to have a good start. He wasn't expecting that. Oh, my God. They just had such a smart early plan there. So they invade topside. And when you invade topside, TL is not expecting you to have a defensive ward there on that bot side. So up around Raptors, TL thought they were off vision, but because EG had the spot and Bjergsen doesn't base, you know he has to walk back through there to get towards mid. That is massive.
Okay, Vulcan gets dredge line down here in bottom as these guys are trading back and forth, but an awesome start for Inspired. EG loving having that Nocturne off to such a good start. Holy moly, man. Awesome level 1. Great stuff from Evil Geniuses here. Team Liquid, we already talked about how they're a little bit light on the damage overall in this composition compared to an enemy comp that's going to have that Kennen, going to have that Jinx and the Ryze. So you can't afford to fall super behind early.
Yeah, definitely not. I do think, to be fair, the Graves helped to shore up some of those concerns. You know, they went for a high DPS champion out of top lane. So they have that double marksman. You know, Ashe is not a Jinx, but when you add in the Graves on top, you know, instead of something like an Orin, it starts to really, you know, keep that damage here pretty high. They are going to be able to play through sides with it, though I do think, especially when you're looking towards, you know, like 3 items, 2 items, Ryze should have prio in that side lane. Ryze is very difficult to deal with, but Santorin getting aggressive. And the bane of all junglers, the hawk shot, going to be sent out towards top, but they have eyes on him. As there was a ward there over by the blue. So Santorin knows he's fully safe to do this. And he could even go for Krugs here potentially as well. Yeah. Try to steal a double camp or maybe even set up for something more aggressive. But I just don't think that they're going to look for a dive. The EG's too healthy.
And the thing to remember about Hawkshot, it's what you were talking about earlier in terms of jungling in general. You don't have to hit the guy with the Hawkshot and actually see his position on the map. Checking
see where
the
he's
camps.
not.
Yeah, see what's up, see what's been cleared, infer the rest of the information yourself. Vulcan's gonna step into the brush there and find the 2 little baby Kruggies just waiting on him, which means Santorin has already been here and left. He'll go right back up into the river. He'll pick up that Scuttle Crab for himself. Nice early pathing here from Team Liquid's jungler. Of course, it's still not gonna get him as many advantages as just having a free first blood like his opponent, but it's something.
No, but I mean, you make the most of what you got, right? And he does take away those 2 camps. He has more to farm. EG is going to play for this topside Scuttle, so we're expecting to see Inspired heading up there, but Inspired will be down on XP, which is very important for Nocturne, right? Nocturne wants to farm to a quick 6. You're not necessarily looking to really interact with the J4 before that. Right. You can sometimes punish people if they're really overextended, but the cases where you get pre-6 ganks from Nocturne are usually pretty few and far between. Right. Instead, you're just going to try to go get the respawn here of the Raptors. If you can take this and then get over towards Scuttle, it's going to be pretty nice, but We see Santorin is coming for the response, and if he smites this, then maybe Santorin potentially challenges him at Scuttle if they can't get the push, so we'll see. Jojo's just trying to shove this, and notice where Jojo's playing. He's actually kind of playing that corridor to the side, so that if his opponent comes in, he just has first move, right? You play above Bjergsen, so that you will win out in that 2v2 if it breaks out. And I just think that's smart positioning from Jojo.
Okay, well, Inspired's coming around. They might just dive Bjergsen here. Jojo tanks the turret as long as he can. One more hit's what they need. It'll be 1-for-1, but Bjerg will lose the wave as well.
He loses the wave. He will get a shutdown, though, because that's his second kill. So it should be a shutdown over to Bjergsen. So a good injection of gold, but he loses the experience. He loses the wave, and won't be anything more, as Jojo obviously gonna have to back up here, knowing that J4 is in the area. He had double wards to actually spot him coming down. Nice aggressive move, though, from EG. Knowing TP is down, that second gank is always the one that really does hurt the most. Jojo has not even spent his TP, so we can watch this one more time. Again, playing towards this top side, it's all about this. They have wards up here, they have a ward over here, they're trying to spot that, and they even spot him with the Scryer's Bloom. So when he spots him on the Scryer's Bloom, Jojo has the push, and you can tell he's calling for this. They know Jarvan is here, so he's gonna look for the wraparound play. Jojo comes in, lands the Rune Prison here, standing with minions in between him, so there's no chance of a charm landing. The fear comes through. Flash on the end of the tether to try to create space, but the flash follow is there and they get the kill, but now it's Realm Warp to bot.
Here we go, CoreJJ and Hansama trying to get out. It's Flash from both Team Liquid bottom laners. It's the cleanse from Hans as well.
Wow.
That's gonna cost him if EG can bring people back here later, or maybe just bring them back now. Jojopyun gets the third kill of the game for Evil Genius.
Hans not paying respect to the fact he's still in the area.
Yeah.
You just blew all your sums. He walks over.
Oh boy, but now Vulcan's not paying respect to the fact that both teams have a jungler.
Both teams do have a jungler, but EG had a mid laner too. So they're able to come out on top with that. Bwipo taking top Scuttle. Has had some pretty good prio in this matchup. You can see that Bwipo's kind of building for that 1v1, grabbed an early null to be able to reduce any chance of an all-in, because that's really all Kennen can do in this matchup is kind of look for that 100-0 play.
Blow him up.
Once you get towards shield bow, you're not poking this guy out. It's just not realistic unless the Graves really misplays. But impact on the push. Will be able to try to harass on these minions, deny as much as he can. EG with a great start here, though. A little unfortunate that Jinx, I think, didn't get the kill on the bot side, but going to Jojo is not bad by any means, and they're threatening the invade. You can see the question mark pings coming out, on the Kennen. They're not sure if he's going to move or not, so Inspired is pretty safe to actually make this invade happen.
Nicely
Vulcan
done.
roams up. Jojo is here on the push, and EG are getting a lot done, and now you gotta be sweating his TL. Like, is he behind you? Is he going for a wraparound? They're gonna just take the red. Santorin's gonna have to give this up and try to go cross map. We'll see if he wants to try to go immediately for enemy red. But Inspired could potentially actually cross back and defend this because Ryze will be there.
Yup. And you mentioned earlier, yeah, it doesn't feel great as the Nocturne to be behind any XP. Yes, he's level 5 compared to the level 6 of Santorin. But when he's got his whole team, it doesn't matter. CoreJJ and Santorin now in the enemy jungle. They'll clear out the ward placed down over the wall by Danny. And Santorin will at least be able to trade red for red here. But this game is a story of EG moving first in the first 8 minutes.
Absolutely, and they're moving first with, I think, more powerful scaling, to be honest with you. They have the Nocturne who wants to play more forward 6. A Ryze and Jinx is incredibly strong late game. Vulcan, no wards there to speak of, so not going to see the J4 moving out, but is going to look for the Hex Flash play, see if he's perhaps still got something going on, and does at least clear out the Blast Cone. And clearing out that Blast Cone, even though, yes, Jarvan can go over the wall, then he has to spend the Flag Drag to go over the wall, and it gives you time to react to any potential dive that were coming in. So still worthwhile to do that. Bwipo, again, paying a lot of respect here. It's double AP solo laners, and it's a tremendous amount of CC.
Oh, yeah.
So Mercs are going to be incredibly high value in this game.
100%.
So rushes the early Mercs, goes towards the Vamp, and he's just playing here to chill and farm. And we'll see if EG can try to look to punish the bot side. Because I think that's the best spot for them to go right now. Inspired now has 6. There's no flash on Hansama. They're going in.
They look for Hans, but yeah, the hook stops
so
Vulcan from locking him down. That would have been very, very scary for Hans otherwise.
I think it's death because he doesn't have cleanse. If that hook does not come in and interrupt the stun, then the chompers are layered over top. I think you just get trained down because Danny could even flash to follow, and you had the ignite available. That hook buys him time for cleanse to come back up. TL, though, moving up towards the top side. Impact does spot that they're around Herald. They have the Nocturne ulti, and they have the Kennen ult. I think they can fight this, But TL has first move. They're even moving up their AD, so that is going to discourage EG from going for anything more. And now we just have to see how many plates does Danny get, because that is the cost you're paying on bot side right now, is Jinx pushing up towards this tower. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to even get one plate, so just nice map movement here from TL.
And the thing that I'm going to be looking at, because you talk about impact being ready to be there, right? Top laners typically don't get to participate much in the overall flow of the game until those teleports become unlocked.
Oh,
right?
they're going to go.
But that's going to be a big thing now. I was just about to say the Kennen ultis can change the game, and they set it up for the kill on Bwipo in top.
You tell no lies. They're realm warping in, though. Core overextended. He's no flash. He's going to probably go down.
Yup, that Nautilus ain't long for this world. Super Mega Death Rocket comes out, but now EG's trying to be careful. They're backing away. They see that Santorin's coming down to the bottom lane, too. CoreJJ stays alive. Evil Geniuses playing on the side of caution here.
Yeah, they have that one ward over in River. It's this ward right here that actually made them retreat, because Bjergsen went missing from mid and they saw J4 walk over the ward, so they didn't want to overcommit to the play and get punished. TL do push them back, will claim a dragon, and Bjergsen got a plate mid, so very nicely done. Jojo will lose that farm. Inspired will be able to pick it up, which is nice. And he has a very early Stridebreaker, so Nocturne is going to be super strong. 3 early kills.
So good on him.
Stridebreaker is so strong on him. You know, the active, to me, the best part about it is that basically forces flash, or the fear will always tether, right? Because you have the speed up from your Q connecting, you can come in there with the ulti, you hit them with the Stridebreaker slow, and you're going to get that fear tether through on a carry. Makes it very difficult to respond to. So here it is one more time, moving down towards that bot side. EG's trying to bait. As soon as Core hooks in, Jojo pops the ulti. He was standing in range of that, but then they see Santorin on that ward I pointed out. They see Bjergsen go missing from mid, and they're saying no. Because yes, you're gonna kill Core. If you commit to that, you will kill Core for sure, but Bjergsen will arrive, Santorin will arrive, and you'll likely lose much more than it's worth to get the kill.
Right. They do not want to make that mistake. It's a 4-2 game. Yes, it is an Evil Genius's lead, but it's still very, very close. A single play can sway this game pretty far.
Yeah,
Rift Herald,
just like this.
Summoned up here in mid with a 4-man push. Bjergsen wants to go ahead and grab this plate first if he can there. Gonna grab it, and then 2 more thanks to the Herald. So mid lane tier 1 on the side of Evil Geniuses nearly collapsed.
We're pretty much back to dead even as far as the gold goes. But again, I feel more pressure on the side of TL here potentially to be able to make things happen. But they do have so much playmaking, so neither side I think is anywhere close to like a game 1 where you felt like it was a guaranteed advantage, but they're going in.
Alrighty, here's your dive. A lot of damage coming through, and Han Sama's already gone. Now they're gonna swap the turret aggro over to Inspired, but there's not enough HP to stick around and grab the kill into CoreJJ just yet. Santorin making an appearance means Danny can't try to finish off that next kill. So Evil Geniuses walks out, just getting the 1.
I mean, this is just turning into like the perfect Nocturne game. These are the games that as a Nocturne player you love, where all you have to do is farm. As soon as the ulti's up, ult in, get a kill. All right, back to farming.
See you guys in 90 seconds.
Exactly, you just keep doing it, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. They've been able to pull it off. Now grabbing the CDR boots on top, have been making it look really good, and you saw in that situation there, Hans has to spend the cleanse flash from Vulcan CC, but Inspired arrives, has him slowed up with a Stridebreaker, gets the fear tether, so there's not really a lot of damage getting returned out there.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Okay, I hear you, EG fans.
The fans have received orders from headquarters, and now they know what to do.
Orders have come in.
They know the plan. I love it, man. Evil Geniuses, 500 gold lead, 5-2 in the kills. Bjergsen waiting over the wall here in the brush. He'll find some damage onto Vulcan, but it's nothing impressive. Vulcan now threatening a re-engage. As CoreJJ's there to help out his mid laner. Now Vulcan's in danger. He's trying to get away from this one. Santorin swoops in, but they're ready to fight back. A long-range arrow and a shutdown onto Inspired. Team Liquid's found 1, and it ain't gonna just be that. 2 for nothing there in the trade. Han Sama's at nothing, but he's still doing better than Danny. 3-0 in that fight for TL.
What a huge swing there from TL, getting all of those kills. Pods with the ulti making such a difference in that fight. Inspired, I don't think he quite had the ulti available, and Danny arrives, but doesn't have the flash to close the gap on Han, so he can't even get the 1 kill, and the flanking Jinx is not the most threatening. TL skyrocket up to a 2K lead. They were behind. That is a rough swing.
Oh, Impact going for the slicing Maelstrom on Bwipo here, but Bwipo just says, all right, nope. Ducks out of it with his own ulti here. Impact and Bwipo dead even in terms of the state of top lane with the farm. Awesome comeback from TL on this Roccat flip the switch replay. Let's see how they did it.
Yeah, we can watch it one more time. There was a ward over the wall there, from TL, so he actually spots Vulcan moving over. He's looking for a little bit of poke, but decides he's going to go straight on in because they have Inspired coming over. But the problem here is really, I think, the Ashe. Ashe was kind of the X factor in this situation. As the Cataclysm comes in, they get grouped up, and look at this arrow right in onto Inspired, very long range. Hans also slowing Danny, who's trying to come up here, hitting him with the volley as he comes across. Multiple members go down. Danny just hard commits to this. Gale Force in, almost has him. That's got to be, what, like 20 HP?
It's
30
so little.
HP? Barely doesn't get him, but gets CC'd up, even blows the cleanse, goes down as a result. TL now into a good spot in this game. A lot of kills going Bjergsen's way, a lot of kills going Santorin's way. And they're going to be able to battle back in that mid-jungle.
A massive, massive swing here. Worth noting that since Team Liquid also got that first Drake, now with this next one spawning here in about 10 seconds, they can put themselves in a really good spot if they go up 2-0 in terms of those neutral objectives. Team Liquid were also the ones securing the first Herald, so they're owning the neutral game here.
Absolutely, and when we saw Impact actually commit the ulti on top side, like, you want to trade aggressively. So we're gonna watch this play.
Jojo, all right, Core and Bjergsen going in for him. I don't really see a whole lot of ways out of this one. The Dragon's gonna be claimed. Jojo's gonna go down. Team Liquid is just in their momentum now.
Yeah, they're looking really good in these last couple minutes, but Bwipo even on the top side, because he was trading so heavily, Impact uses the ulti there, but it meant that Impact wouldn't have the ulti up for this fight. On spawn, it still had about 15 seconds of cooldown, and he didn't have TP. So they were never going to look to actually challenge at that Dragon without the Kennen ulti. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
They will be able to get tower back on the top side, so they're going to close that gold gap a little bit there, climbing back into it. But Bwipo trying to trade on this bottom side. We'll see where Inspired's going to go with the next ulti. Bwipo's got to be a little bit respectful here down on this bottom side. He will take a couple tower shots, and if Inspired gets in range, you can ult and solo kill that guy for sure if you know the jungler's not behind him.
Super Mega Death Rocket. Nope. Just sails off into the wild blue yonder. Nice attempt there. But the thing is, I feel like for EG this game, Azael, the X factor is Impact. When you think back to all the different Kennen games that you've seen in pro play, the biggest moments are always the ones where the guy finds the right flank, the right angle, the right spot to be. And that is Impact's job here in this game.
Absolutely, and that's why actually playing, with the tempo, playing with the advantage is so important, because you need to be able to get flanking wards. As they're going to look to potentially dive here on top side, he is wrapped around on, and EG is very far away from responding.
Oh no, the three-man dive! That ain't a JoJo reference! Bjergsen goes on a rampage, and now Impact is just up here to watch his turret die. Team Liquid finds their 7th kill of the game. They take the tier 1, bring that gold lead back up to 3K.
Yeah, JoJo almost able to outplay a little bit there. As he did get the Everfrost route onto Bjergsen, it looked like potentially that last tower shot could have gone off. Didn't have the timing though. And unfortunately for them, it is the tower down. It is their mid laner down again. JoJo getting picked on here in the side lanes. Dies in bot lane, goes top. And so that wave gets dove there, getting punished very heavily. TL getting aggressive in these last couple minutes, really making use of the Nautilus and J4. They know that they have so much powerful engage. And really, Inspired, we haven't been able to see an effective ulti ever since that bot lane dive. That was kind of the last one. It's been a good 5 minutes at least. Didn't have the ulti up for that skirmish that they lost around mid, and hasn't found an angle to do it since.
And I mean, you said earlier, it was looking like one of those perfect Nocturne games where you just press R, you're a ballistic missile, you torpedo somebody, flash them a sassy emote, and then go back to farming for the next 90 seconds. Nocturne from behind, you're the one who becomes the exploding torpedo and nothing else blows up with you.
It's a gold pinata.
You just jump in and you pinata yourself, they pick up your loot and walk away and have a good time. It becomes much more difficult. Does have the level 2 ulti now at level 11. Very important to remember that those range increases mean a lot for Nocturne's ult. Maybe he'll be able to find some more plays with that one. Down here in bottom, Bjergsen playing with confidence here on this Ahri, 4-2-2. He's been a part of every kill except for one. Both of the items he's completed, both have fight-changing actives. He's in a great spot to carry this game.
Yeah, he really is. And we've got to see Inspired just continue to play aggressive, continue to find these angles, because it just gets harder later and later into the game as Nocturne to actually go for that. because you just don't have as much income as solo laners. Cannon minions spawning every wave. The cannon's also going up in gold at that point. You really start to get heavily outpaced. You have to play
Chickens
more
are still
provision.
just chickens.
Exactly. Your carries are starting to take away your farm. So you've got to be able to try to play aggressive, to try to find these ultis. Because TL is just grouping for dragons, and they're trying to play towards Soul. And Nocturne ulti in 5v5 is so much weaker than Nocturne ulti in multi-man plays where you're like a 2v1 or a 3v2 where you can fly in kind of unexpectedly. If TL are grouped as 5 around Dragon, it's tough. I mean, you ult into the backline, very likely you get CC'd and instantly die. Plus they have an exhaust to answer the Kennen, which makes Kennen so much less effective. You know, that summoner is just incredibly strong against what Impact is playing.
And I love the fact that they brought it against it, right? Like, you can't always stop. If Kennen has a teleport and a flash, like, he's going to get into the back line, and Exhaust is just great for making sure that it feels bad even when he succeeds. So 45 seconds on that Drake. 2 Drakes already for Team Liquid to the none on the side of Evil Geniuses. Still that 3,000 gold lead persists. Evil Geniuses walking through the bottom side of the TL jungle, laying down a lot of vision. You can see 2 normal wards, a control ward in there. They want to keep an eye on TL as they approach towards this Drake. They do not want to give Liquid the sole point status for the rest of the game here. Santorin just walking back to the rest of his team here. Doesn't want to stay alone for too long.
But TL have mid prio, so now you're going to have to lose the river or potentially lose your 2, right? So they're going to have to be sacking something. They may just have Kennen try to answer that and then try to come in on the flank. If EG stay 4 here, though, TL could just try to look to engage.
Santorin jumped in, but he's finding a lot of damage greeting him here. Danny grabbing every auto attack that he can, and Inspire jumps into the middle of everybody, but the super mega death rocket goes wide. Santorin barely survives, but with their jungler at 100 HP, Team Liquid have lost the Drake.
It's a great fight there for EG as Santorin just getting a little bit too aggressive, a little bit ahead of the team. TL, though, moving up towards that top side, won't be able to start up the Baron just yet. If that Jinx ult hits, I think they can get multiple kills there, though. That could mean so much more. It looked like a little sidestep on it from Santorin, dodging out. Because if you get the reset, Hans was also low. EG, though, they get the dragon. They will get that bottom tier 1, closing that lead ever so slightly. Impact up here on that top side.
Hanging out in the brush, sees that he's standing on top of one of those Scryer trinkets, so not going to get any sort of element of surprise on Bwipo here. Both of our top laners, you can see Bwipo actually already at his second item with the Collector purchased. Impact still working towards that Void Staff here for his, making sure that when he goes in, he knows it's all about the entrance. Everything's about the damage. You've got to make sure that when you go in, everybody melts inside your ulti. Bwipo's going to get caught out here. He's inside the Evil Genius's jungle, and he's all alone in a 1v4. There's no way out.
Eventually. We'll see if they want to actually start it up. I think they should. Bjergsen showing bot. You start Baron, and you force out at least the TP. Impact didn't commit his ulti critically. That's why they can start this. Because if TL hard commits to this, and you get TP flanked, there's not a great ward, unfortunately, for them. But if they had one, TL doesn't really know. You could get TP flanked here. So all he can really do is TP towards the top side where Vulcan is. He's trying to get him a ward in position to look for a flank. That's where it's going to be. He drops the ward. Inspired's getting very low, though. They have to start this now.
They got to be ready to go. There comes your paranoia. Vulcan's going to be stuck in the damage here with the start. Impact coming around. Slicing Maelstrom will rend Team Liquid as Evil Geniuses will lose 2 of their own. And Bjergsen responds with a double kill. A beautiful answer from one of the best to ever do it. And Team Liquid shows no fear.
EG, it looks like they had that perfect engage, but Inspired was at like 10% from the Baron. He goes in, it's just a one-way trip. The exhaust comes down on Impact. Core did not panic and use it early on anyone else. Saved it for Impact there. As a result, Hans Cleanse Flash survives barely, and Danny cannot catch up once more to finish off these kills. It was a pretty well-timed engage. As we see, Vulcan's gonna go up. He's gonna drop the ward, right there in the pit for the TP flank. They don't necessarily have vision of it, but they have to know it's coming. But look over here. Look at Inspired. His health is getting so incredibly low. So even though the timing is pretty good on this, the lights get turned out so they don't see him on the ward. He comes in for the wraparound. As Inspired goes forward, look at his health. He's got 250 health. The exhaust is immediate onto the Kennen flank, and they can't get the kill, but they do get one down on bot side onto Bwipo. But now it's TL pinging towards Baron, won't be able to start it.
That's a triple kill for Impact if CoreJJ doesn't have that exhaust. Everybody on TL was so low.
I mean, Hans barely survived. If you kill him, you get that reset. The extra resets the move speed for the Jinx closing in, get multiple kills. You can turn to Baron potentially. It's game-changing how quick he was, because that wasn't even like, it felt like he exhausted the first tick. It felt like it was instantaneous.
CoreJJ ready to go on the exhaust, can save the game sometimes. 8-9 overall, still about a 2,500 gold lead for Team Liquid. But evil geniuses are not sitting back and letting Liquid run the show. Vulcan goes for the hex flash over the wall. They're going after Hans Sama. He's down to a third, but they can't quite kill him. And now Team Liquid ready for the punch back. Bjergsen is godlike as Hans Sama can rejoin the fray. Make it a double, make it a triple. You don't mess with the GOAT, it's Bjergsen, baby.
Bjergsen wiping him off the map as TL set the trap and EG take the bait. They wanted to kill Hans there, knew his summoners were down, but he had the team behind him. They're gonna get Baron, and they're gonna pull into an enormous lead here in game number 3.
The early game was looking real nice for EG, but ever since those 3 kills in the mid game, it's just been the TL show. Here was the play one more time.
Yeah, it's all about the vision play. They never saw Jarvan, so EG say, all right, let's go. As they go in, though, they get eyes on Jarvan. Bjergsen is still in the area. There's an extra man there. The knockup from Santorin catching Danny and Jojo. Both the carries in the knockup, both the carries in the Cataclysm. No flash on Jinx means no way out. Bjergsen flies forward, AoE hitting all of them. On Sama having a laugh. He's like, I got you.
Like, you got me.
You thought you had me.
33% HP. Good job.
Yeah.
Awesome. Look at the damage done in the team. The top laners weren't there, so a couple of donuts in the top lane. Santorin nearly did as much damage as Bjergsen did. And he's a damn Jarvan.
Yep. I mean, he did more than Jojo and Danny did, right? Like, he played that team fight perfectly, getting the multi-man knockup on both the carries, getting them both in the Cataclysm, hitting everyone with every bit of his damage that he could. And now EG really on the back foot. They do still have go buttons, but the question is, can you win the fight when you find the engage? Impact is split pushing top, so I think the answer is just to look for a TP flank potentially. You know, they have a ward deep in bot lane. I can't tell if that's a trinket ward or actually a ward that they could TP on. But for now, he's just going to trade tier 2 top, get a little bit more gold. And he's likely trying to work towards that death cap. And they are going for the deep TP flank, so that ward was available, but it's a counter TP.
Yup.
They're all going to turn for the Kennen.
The teleports are ready to go. Impact just slicing Maelstrom onto his opponent only. Bjergsen staying alive with the stasis. He's trying to deal with Impact, but now the rest of EG are trying to go in. Jojo's going to be taken low as Bjergsen takes Impact out of the picture. Jojo about to die next. Inspired's about to fall. Hans Sama's been traded, but he's the only one. Team Liquid just won the game.
Team Liquid crush through. The perfect response there on the TP flank. Bjergsen with the insta-TP forces the ulti out on 1. TL on the march to victory will push themselves to match point.
Let's go, Team Liquid, responding powerfully here in game number 3, 17-9, 27.5 minutes in. They move to match point.
It's been a really good series. Game 2, game 3, very competitive between these two teams. Team Liquid really showing their class, though. This one was so much about mid-jungle support for TL. The jungler roaming around with Core, him and Santorin getting so much done, and Bjergsen cleaning up in so many of these fights. 10-2-4 on this Ahri.
And there were so many little things in this game that could have gone slightly different and been so much better for EG and specifically for Danny. Recall back to bottom lane, the Leona engage, the stun gets interrupted by the hook from CoreJJ. That stops a kill from maybe coming through. That super mega death rocket that went a little bit wide and barely missed Nocturne, just singed the hairs off his butt.
Hans living with 20 HP.
That could have happened. Hans living with 20 HP. The team fight where it looked like it might have been able to work out, but the exhaust onto Impact. That's 4 different moments right there, all just being slightly different, could have been a very different outcome.
And that's showing your class on the side of TL, right?
Yeah.
That they can execute in those moments. You know, that was not just getting lucky, right? It's Core hitting the perfectly timed hook. It's Core finding the perfect exhaust on the Kennen flank. You know, it's Bjergsen being able to capitalize on these perfect engages that we were finding time and time again from Santorin. TL showing their veteranship, showing their experience.
Well, they're up 2-1 in this series now. They go blow for